Baltimore is brought to you by the Snyder Law Group. Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
Breaking right now, picking up the pieces after a trail of destruction in Ohio. The National Weather Service confirms a large and dangerous tornado ripped apart those homes and buildings there in Ohio. This is just one of several suspected tornadoes that caused extensive damage from Dayton to Columbus. Now that it's daytime, we're finally seeing more of the destruction that's left behind. This is from Salina, Ohio, which is about an hour north of Dayton. Officials say the damage is both unbelievable and catastrophic. You can see it there, just trees snapped in half, debris scattered everywhere, the roofs of some homes completely gone. Emergency officials say at least 7 people were hurt in Salina, and 3 of them are in serious condition.
That weather maker is now making its way into Maryland and could be bringing more severe weather. We just had a wave of rain come through Baltimore City, and it still continues to rain outside right now. And of course, we want to check on your traffic and your weather.
That's right. Let's get over to meteorologist Jonathan Myers and see what's happening, and then we'll get back to Candace and see what problems creating on the roads out there. But Jonathan, what are we in for? Yeah, first rain and embedded storms this morning with the risk of a strong storm or 2, and then scattered storms into this afternoon with a risk of severe weather. And look at all the lightning now popping up with some of these cells right from Severn down to Mitchellville, Forestville. Really, the northern edge is just kind of more so rain from Lake Riviera up to Edgewood, and actually haven't come through Baltimore in the past half hour or so. But there's more where this came from, although it looks like a breakout to the west. That will only percolate more thunderstorms as unstable air moves in this afternoon for the kids heading on home from school. I'll let you know where it's going to be worst in about 10 minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Jonathan. What a morning commute we've had, and of course that rain is certainly impacting it. Also, quite a few accidents out there. One southbound side of 95 at the Fort McHenry Tunnel. It went to avoid 95 and 895 and used 695 around the Key Bridge. The other big story has been lanes shut down for hours along the southbound side of 95 right near the ICC. Here's the scene at 198, but it is backed up through Howard County at 132 as well. 295 is jammed. Use Route 1 or 29 instead. Back over to you.
Thank you, Candace. Today, the last former Baltimore Police Gun Trace Task Force detective involved in that racketeering case will be sentenced. Former Baltimore detective Jamel Ram pleaded guilty to racketeering, conspiracy, multiple robberies, and overtime fraud. The Baltimore Sun reporting that federal prosecutors are looking for 12 years in federal prison for Ram. Ram is the last former Baltimore City detective to be sentenced in this case. 7 others are facing prison sentences of up to 25 years.
Project Baltimore revisits a shocking case of reported bullying in Baltimore County after a child says he was thrown out of a moving school bus.
Yeah, it's a story that we first told you about last month, and as Chris Papps explains, the family has taken extreme steps to stop the bullying.
I just wish this would have never happened. It has turned our world upside down.
Brian Kite quit his job and pulled his 6 kids out of school. And now
it's sad that I even got to do this.
He's packing up their home.
We're moving. We're relocating. We're taking our kids and leaving.
He's headed to West Virginia with few plans, but fewer doubts.
We have to find a better school for my kids.
That school's not in Baltimore County?
It's not even in the state of Maryland.
Kite says the past 6 months have been hard for his kids, especially Jason. He's 6 years old and goes to Featherbed Lane Elementary in Baltimore County. His 10-year-old brother looks out for him, but their dad says the bullying has gotten out of control. He says both boys come home scared, running from the bus to their front door. And then earlier this month, something happened on the bus, and Jason never made it home.
He threw me out the window and I landed on the street. No car didn't run me over.
Jason says an older student who had been bullying him called him to the back of the bus. His brother tried to stop him, but couldn't.
He pushed the emergency button to open the window, and he threw me out the window.
Jayceon was thrown out the window of the bus.
While it was moving.
While it was moving.
While it was moving.
Kite raced to the scene. He says Jayceon fell head first and was knocked unconscious.
I'm scared to death, you know. I show up, and he's already in the back of the ambulance, and I didn't even get to talk to nobody because the ambulance was in a very big rush to pull off. So I jumped in the ambulance. I was thinking I might be losing my child. And it was terrifying.
The first grader was hospitalized for 3 days. Medical reports say he suffered frontal skull fractures with small head bleeding. He was put on seizure medication. The police report is incomplete. The officer hadn't watched the surveillance video, but Kite says he has, and it shows Jayceon was pushed out the window.
How long was he unconscious?
More than a day.
More than a day?
More than a day. I'm seeing my child there, completely unconscious, unresponsive, fighting for his life. And, I mean, all I could think about was, God, please help my son.
As a parent, I'm angry. Because as parents, we send our children to school to learn and to be safe.
Attorney Ivan Bates is representing Kite. He says the father reached out to him while in the hospital.
My first instinct was to make sure he was okay. Once he was okay, and once we talked a little bit more, I knew he needed help, and then I knew I was going to take the case.
Bates believes this could be a possible lawsuit against Baltimore County Public Schools. He'll be conducting his own investigation to see if the school failed to protect Jayceon.
It could have been avoided and should have been avoided.
I'm scared. You know, I don't know if my son may ever be the same.
You got it? The next few months will be telling. Jayceon is still recovering.
I can do these.
He doesn't remember much, but he does remember what put him in the hospital and why he won't be going back to Featherbed.
Go that way.
Why don't you want to go back?
Because he threw me out the window.
Because of this. My children actually approached me, and I never put these words into their mouths. My children actually approached me and said that we are scared to go back to that school. Do we have to go? And I'm a parent. I love my children. And with them saying that and the look on their faces, I can't send them back there. I can't.
We have an update to the story. In April, Project Baltimore filed a public records request with Baltimore County Schools to see the bus surveillance video. County Schools denied that request, saying the video is part of the student record and to be released, Fox 45 would need parental consent from every student in the video. We want to hear from you. Do you have a story you want to share? Call our hotline or send an email. Go to foxbaltimore.com to follow.